It's all going down Saturday, September 10th. Historic championship doubleheader at the O2 Arena in London. And this an entire female card?
It is. And when they first brought this to my attention that this could be an option of me fighting for the co-main for Clarissa Shields versus Savannah Marshall, I was super on board with it, and I was secretly hoping that they were going to make it an all-female card because me and Clarissa can obviously we can carry a card on our own, but
Yeah.
put together, like, might as well. We're definitely going to make this is going to be a huge fight. We're going to be able to sell it. And so let's put all females on the card. Let's just make it a huge female event. So I'm so glad they went and did that.
And at the O2, I mean, after coming off of the Amanda Serrano fight too. I mean, them at MSG with Katie Taylor, that MSG fight to what you guys are now doing at the O2. I mean, this is amazing for women in boxing. Like, could you have imagined when you started in this business and in this sport that it would have grown the way that it has, and now to get these eyeballs on women?
That's a hard question to answer. Everyone keeps asking me that, and like part of me goes, yeah, duh. Like I feel like every woman in this era of women's boxing, like the top girls right now, we always had to believe that we would be at this position, right? Like I mean, I told myself I wanted to be the best female fighter in the world back when women weren't allowed to compete in the Olympics. Promoters weren't signing us professionally. This is like Gina Carano days, right? So I just had a passion. I just knew that I don't know how I was going to get it done, but I just knew I was passionate about this sport and I was going to get it done. And I feel like all of us women in this era had to believe that. So to an extent, yes, we always believed it'd be at this point, but it's like we couldn't really imagine it in this detail because we didn't know how it, sort of like evolving year after year, trying to grow in this market.
It's so cool to see too. I mean, especially to be able to see the growth happened. Like, so I come from the world of like professional wrestling. And when we look at like what the women were able to do, like from even like when I started there like 8-9 years ago to what the women are doing now. And over that time, it's like to see that actually happen. And same within UFC, to see like the women really getting those main event spots, getting much better pay, getting like the different sponsorships, all that stuff. It's so amazing to be able to see that all kind of come together for everybody. Who are some of the people that you would really put on championing women's boxing? Because there's so many people behind the scenes that also get this done.
It's so interesting because, back in the day you had there was like this little spike in women's boxing, right? You had Layla Ali, Ann Wolfe, Mia St. John, and in that era of women's boxing. And then for like 10 years, there was nothing. Nothing. I mean, we finally were allowed to compete in the Olympics. They allowed that. And I think that was the biggest thing they could have done for us because it allowed us women to compete at the highest possible level. And then we can only grow from there, right? And so now this era of women's boxing, I mean, these girls are going to go down in history.
Yeah.
The girls, just think about the 4 girls on this card. Yes. I mean, and then Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano. These girls doing this now are really just setting the tone for the next generation. And that's something that's always been a huge goal of mine is I didn't have a path to follow when I was coming up in this sport. Like people literally laughed at the idea that I said I was going to be a professional boxer. Like they said, okay, like good luck. That doesn't exist. But, I think that's a goal for a lot of us is just for the next generation to be like, hey, what is the blueprint? How do we follow it? Like the men have that blueprint and us women didn't. So now it's there and all the women now have all contributed in their small way or big way.
Does it feel different heading into a full female card? We got to do that with WWE. We had our very first all women's pay-per-view, WWE Evolution, and we had women doing commentary. I got to be on commentary for that. The women from, top to bottom. I feel like we even had more women like writers and producers on staff. That might be a question mark next to that. But it just had that really cool energy of like women supporting each other. We knew how big this was, like everyone working together as much as there can be. Like the shit that happens inside the ring is one thing. And, obviously for you guys, you can talk about that. But in terms of like everyone really banding together and knowing that like, damn, something really special is happening right now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I knew it was going to be special. Like a lot of people kind of gave me a little bit of crap because they're like, you and Alicia Baumgartner should be your own main event. Like, why are you agreeing to be the co-main event for Shields Marshall? And I'm like, I don't have that ego when this was like brought to my attention. My ego didn't kick in and say, "Oh, well, what about me being the main event?" Like that
Mhm.
literally didn't cross my mind. I thought like, "Wow, this could be so iconic. This could be so unique. This could be setting a new tone for boxing in general, not just women's boxing, because
Yeah.
you usually don't get more than one awesome matchup on a card in boxing. You do in the
Yeah.
UFC, but you
Sure.
really don't in boxing." And so I'm like, this could set a new tone. We have like three different promoters working together, three different networks. I'm like, this is awesome. And this is great. And this is going to give the fans a one-stop shop to see two fights that maybe if it was separated that they wouldn't been able to like afford or get to both of these fights. And so it's a one-stop shop for the fans, which I'm all about the fans. I say like we're entertainers at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So these fans are everything to us. And so I think it's just awesome. And I'm like so stoked about it. And I'm still getting a little bit of shit from it from some people, but I think it's iconic and I think it's gonna be one of the greatest boxing events of all time.
How's the pressure feel? How do you like, how does that kind of weigh on your shoulders of not only just like this fight, I mean, obviously you've been in these like mega pressure cooker situations before competing at the Olympics and whatnot. Where does this kind of rank amongst that for you?
I'm at the point in my career where every fight is the biggest fight of my life because I've worked so hard to get to this level.
Mhm.
And this is not a forgiving sport. I
Sure.
mean, one slip up, one loss, and you're written off
Yeah.
by a lot of people, not just by your promoters, and your stock goes down, everything goes down, but like it's just a brutal, rough sport. And so everything's on the line. There's definitely with each win comes more and more pressure.
Yeah.
But I think that I've had like a gradual um like I've gradually had to deal with more and more and more and more pressure. It's not like I've just been thrown into everything. I think I've had a very good career. I had a lot of ups and downs and like a general growth where I've just been able to easily handle a little bit more pressure, handle more challenging opponents. And so I just feel like I'm in a really good place. I feel like Top Rank has moved me really well. My
Yeah.
team really moved me well. And like, I feel like supported. I have a great team. I can trust in them. I can rely on, everything we've done in training camp. I don't have to overthink and stress about it. I sort of just say like, okay, I trust my team. I trust the process and just take the pressure off myself.
Yeah.
There might be a lot more pressure that kicks in once they get to the UK. The UK
Yeah.
love boxing over there. It's like
Those
football.
crowds are nuts.
Yeah,
Holy.
it's like, which is one of the reasons I wanted to get over to the UK because I know that they love boxing over there, and it's a little bit more difficult here in America. The market's a little tougher. You're competing with so much. There's so much competition for the media's attention, and but there it's already built. So I'm sure the pressure will be there. It's gonna be a huge stage, huge arena, lots of people. But yeah, I'm ready for that pressure. I'm ready. I've asked for it. I've always called it privileged pressure
Oh, I like
because
that.
there's plenty of people who would kill to be in my position, and so I'm lucky.
Does that kind of keep like a chip on your shoulder, the way that media reacts to boxing and women's boxing in particular?
Here in
Yeah.
America?
Yeah.
No, because I knew what I was getting into. It's not like when I started boxing that it was already like this developed sport and I had all these idols to look up to with amazing careers. Like it wasn't like
Mhm.
that. I knew what I was getting into. I think that's just sort of like my personality in general, though. Like I always have taken the hard path, haven't been afraid of challenges, and so I knew it was going to be tough. Like I
Yeah.
said, when I started boxing, we weren't allowed to compete in the Olympics. Promoters weren't signing us. I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, to
That's
me,
where
I'm
I'm
like, what
going.
were you thinking? You crazy little girl. But yeah, look where we are now. So yeah, it's just a continuing. It's just a process. I may never reap the full benefits of my hard work and like
Mhm.
what I've tried to accomplish. I may never reap those full benefits, and I'm okay with that. I'm This era is still pioneer. We're still pioneering the sport, the
Sure.
women era. So, but we're doing our part, and the next generation is gonna definitely benefit from it.